What's going on, you guys? Laxo here again. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be taking a quick look here at Ashisogi Jizō. So this is the newest character, and he is Mayuri Zanpakuto Spirit, and he should be getting released probably on server 1 here in the next couple days. I'm sorry, here probably in the next 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, depending upon when I release this video. I have a lot going on right now. So, also with that being said, feel free to check the description below where I have all the timestamps, because I will also be going over what team comps I think he could be going, or he could work in, and maybe where he'll fit into, team comps. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into him here. Alright, so the first thing we notice is he's an attack specialty character, so he should be doing some good damage. That is always an asterisk next to that, because we don't always know. Let's see here, Poison Master continual damage. That is... Don't look at this and think that's what the characters actually do, because that's always what they think he's going to do, but not what they actually do. Alright, Warsoul, Vermilion Bird. That means he will be getting Rage fairly quickly with his basic attacks. Let's see here, Heroic Warsoul. Increase the effect reduction rate of all attack specialty characters by 0.67. That is actually pretty good, because you do want effect reduction rate really high on your back line, because you don't want them to get, stunned, frozen, anything like that. You want them to be CC free. Alright, his talent, an extreme challenge. Alright, cool. So it looks like his talent isn't really mandatory whatsoever, so we can just ignore his talent. Alright, looks like his numbers look pretty normal, because the damage creep, or the power creep. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at his kit here. Alright, starting off with his mastery skill. Deals damage to a single enemy and poisons the target for 2 rounds. There is a 50% chance to paralyze the target for 1 round. 50% is actually pretty good, and it applies poison, so that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So in case you guys forgot what poison does, at the end of each round causes damage based on the amount of life the poison character is currently missing. And the poison damage rate is 4% of the missing HP. So early game poison really doesn't do too much, but as the game goes later, you can get more and more stacks of poison, and it will actually do some good damage. But early game poison doesn't really do too much. I remember poison actually used to be really, really strong when the game first released, and then unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Oasis nerfed poison. So, alright, with that being said, let's look at his passive here. Ashisogi Jizō has increased damage reduction rate. At the end of the ally round, poison enemies have their rage recovery speed reduced by 30% for 1 round. When poison enemies die, Ashisogi Jizō recovers 300 rage and HP equal to 15% of his max HP. That is good, because it's his max HP, not his current HP. So that is pretty good. At the first time his HP falls below 40%, Protective Miasma activates for 2 rounds. And Protective Miasma reduces incoming damage by 60% and inflicts poison on attackers. So that's good. The thing I'm seeing that is actually looking like it's going to hold this character back is the fact that 1, he's going to be squishy because he's an attack specialty character. 2, you need him to get to late game so his poison could actually take place and do damage. And 3, it looks like the first time his HP falls below 40%, then you get Protective Miasma, which looks like that is going to actually be important. So let's hope that his natural damage reduction rate is pretty high, and he could turn into somewhat of a tanky attacker. Hopefully that is the case, but it looks like if you do want to use him on a team, he's going to have to be on a team that is very tanky or gives damage reduction rate to the entire team. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at his actual rage skill here. Deals damage to all enemies plus 40% additional damage to targets that are already poisoned, and poisons all targets for 2 rounds. After a weapon awakens, damage is greatly increased, and there is a chance to paralyze the target, or targets. Alright, so looks like he's going to be one of those characters where it's mandatory you have to get his weapon, because you really want that paralyzed to take effect. Because we don't know how his rage skill is going to perform. Again, it's always in the air. Maybe he's going to be a really high damaging character. Maybe he's going to hit like a wet paper towel. So it just depends on how he performs, but nonetheless, the big effect you can get from his weapon is actual paralyze on the enemy team. Looks like it's going to be the entire enemy team that has a chance to get paralyzed. So let's hope it's up there in the 20, 30, 40% or 20, 30% to get poisoned rather than the 10% chance to get poisoned, because then it might not be too great. But at the same time, looks like Ashisogi Jizō might just be a late game or late match character. So if he gets hurt early, he can get bursted down, and then he's almost useless. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at other characters, or maybe different team comps that he can work well with. Okay, so the first thing you see, obviously, is Paralyze. And as soon as Paralyze comes in your mind, you think Tensa Zangetsu, which is actually very viable, because if you think about it, Ashisogi Jizō is going to help you more, because he applies poison. So Tensa Zangetsu is going to rage first, get the enemy down to, let's hope, 75%, 50% or lower in HP, and then poison's going to kick in. If you can get other characters in there, like, I don't know, Mayuri, he applies poison, get those stacks of poison working up, and then you can do a lot of damage to the enemy team. So putting him on a Tensa Zangetsu team might actually be pretty good. But also, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at other characters that apply poison as well. So first off, we have Mayuri here. Mayuri here is actually pretty good, but you need to get him to 6 Awakened Runes so he can apply the 2 extra stacks of poison. That is pretty important. And rage recovery by 500 after activating Mad Scientist. I mean, that's not bad, but I think the extra stack of poison is very, very important. You definitely want that extra stack of poisoned. And on that, the other character we can look at that will actually give us some poison is Baragon. Baragon, when he gets attacked, they get poisoned. So that is actually pretty good as well. And on top of that, Baragon is actually a Soul Hall leader. And if you remember me saying before, you really want to keep Ashisogi Jizō alive. So Baragon is really important. You definitely, if you plan on getting Ashisogi Jizō, you might want to use the Baragon Soul Hall. That is pretty important as well. And another character we can use, and we can also use their Soul Hall as well, is Salzaporo. Alright, so once again, he poisons the entire enemy team, and he kind of acts like a better version of Mayuri, because he has the revive as well. When he goes down, he revives. And Salzaporo is actually an extremely tanky unit. He can stay alive for pretty long. So you can also toss him in there. At that point, we can have 2 of the Black Tortoise. We can have 2 of the Vermilion Birds. We can have one dragon. Now let's take a look here at another character we can put in here from the Tiger. So, based on what I'm seeing here, there's not too many characters we can toss in here that would be very, very good. I know that there are a bunch of support type units you can actually use, including, I believe, Nini is going to be pretty good as well, and she's coming out. So you could use her. And once again, you could use a character like Rukia. She's pretty good. Sogyo no Kotowari is actually really good as well. If you're trying to get a team low and finish them off, then maybe you could even toss somebody in there like Aizen. I mean, Senbo and Zakura is always around. You could always use him. If you need some more CC out there, Toshiro is actually not a bad go-to. Other than that, I'm not really seeing too many other characters you can use. I don't really see Byakuya being used. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much about it. Maybe you can toss White Ichigo in there to maybe have him Rage Loop as well, since the enemy team is going to be getting, you know, CC'd, paralyzed. So White Ichigo might not be too bad. Plus, the silences will actually help out quite a bit. But other than that, I don't really see too many other characters. Now, if you need actual just fill-in characters that you'd like to, let's just say you don't have UR Baragon, another good character is you can use SSR Baragon. He's actually pretty good as well. Not quite as effective in the same way as you want UR Baragon, because you're probably going to want to use a Soul Hall, but nonetheless, you can get an extra poison stack from his Rage skill, who unfortunately only attacks a column. Other than that, the only other character I can really think of that works well, or I'm sorry, that procs poison is SSR Gin. When he rages, I believe he drops 1 stack of poison on the enemy as well. A 75% chance of adding a stack of poison. So, other than that, I don't really see too many other characters you can use with Ashisogi Jizō, but I do feel like that is a fair bit of characters, enough that you might be able to make a viable poison team. Because, let's see here, we do have, 2 tanks, we have 3 tanks, 4 tanks, if that, of characters you can use for damage, but as far as damage dealers go, you know, you're going to have to rely, hopefully, that Ashisogi Jizō does do a strong amount of damage. Once again, it's always up in the air if this character is actually going to hit really hard and do a lot of damage, or he's not. But one thing's for sure, the lowering the rage recovery rate of the enemy team is actually pretty good. You know, even for Warsouls, you could even put, you know, rage reduction Warsouls or something like that on Ashisogi Jizō as well, and that might actually be effective. But other than that, he looks like an interesting character. Am I going to personally get him? He's unfortunately going to have to be a pass for me, because we're coming up to the end of the characters for Zanpakuto Manifestation, which means Koga should be released soon, hopefully. And there's another character or two I might want to get, so saving up for that. I'm going to have to pass on Ashisogi Jizō for now, but he is definitely looking like perhaps a viable option. We will just have to see how he does in the future. Alright guys, with that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. If you guys haven't already subscribed and do enjoy this content, feel free to hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom. I would appreciate it. If you guys would like to message me directly, feel free to hit me up in the comments below. Also, I have a Discord that I will link as well in the description. You can hit me up on there if you want to PM me directly. Other than that, guys, that's going to wrap this one up, and I will catch you guys on the next one.